the rest of us. Now, grounding, right? Before making any kind of permanent decisions, right? Before you make any kind of permanent emotional decisions, you return back to gratitude, to yourself, the center, your higher self, God, gratitude, emotional stability, whatever you want to call it. What that means is that certain things you don't have control of. There are many things in life you don't have control of, right? Instead of attempting to have control of it, which makes you show up as somebody with controlling behavior, you hand it over to your higher self to worry about that. And there's some things you can control. You stabilize yourself enough so that you can take control of the things you can control. What do we call that? We call that leadership, right? So you're able to remain centered, right? So that you can actually take control of the things that are still within your power. And there's so many things. And what happens is that panic will take away your ability to do that. But grounding will actually give you capacity. You stabilize yourself around what remain yours to lead. All right. So now that allows you to move with purpose, pain-driven purpose. Without the experience that you're going through right now, you wouldn't be able to comprehend this next step. Okay. You know, when people say self-discovery and they want to self-discover outside of marriage, and it's about marriage, it's confusion at best. Okay. You don't know what you are discovering, right? People say, well, you should know yourself. Like, listen, all right? You should know yourself, absolutely. But you might just be playing from a very unrealistic place, okay? If you don't know what you don't know, if you never put yourself out there, if you're not willing to take risk, you're not going to experience certain parts of this life. You're probably not going to be able to build purpose. So when I say pain-driven purpose, you have a frame of reference. You've known what it feels like when you go the panic route. And you know you failed. So now we're going to flip that failure, right? We're going to flip that failure into success. And all of that, does that not sound like purpose? Now you're being purposeful about your marriage, which starts with self, right? For the first time. As opposed to running around the internet calling people narcissists, you're able to reflect back to self because you have that level of power, even though you might have not been aware of it, right? Which is why someone else will feel the need or will think they can take advantage of you or take you for granted. But anyway, purpose is what we're talking about, right? Instead of spending every waking hour monitoring your husband, your wife, snooping around, buying gadgets, trying to bug the house, bug the car, right? You redirect your pain into meaningful responsibilities. Like what? Like yourself, self-love, self-respect, your children, your faith, work, finances, your life mission, your purpose, your calling. Yes, every human being has a calling over their head, but you're probably disconnected from that because you're obsessed with somebody who rejected you. I get it, but it's time to call it back to order, right? Your friendships, even if it's just your friendship with your estranged partner, right? You need to start from a place of friendship. You go back to the basics, and then you can start building from a place of purpose, right? Your self-development. Your marriage remains important, yes, but it shouldn't be your source of identity. What happens is that you end up depleting anything good from that marriage when you don't show up as your full, authentic, wholesome self. Doesn't mean you're complete. It just means you're on that journey. You're that purposeful, okay? So, and that helps you with leadership. Now you can make decisions according to the reality as opposed to the panic, which is fear, which is false evidence appearing real. Now you have self-leadership. Self-leadership, guys. You're able to make decisions according to reality. You see for what it is. They ask you for space. Ouch. Painful, great. Opportunity, painful. Let's flip this pain into purpose. You're not going to be able to do that without grounding. Okay? You're not going to be able to do it without finding your source of truth. Notice I didn't say truth. I said source of truth. It needs to be properly identified so that you can actually take control from a place of purpose. A lot of word salad, but I want you to get used to those words because those words are very, very important as opposed to panic, right? So value, when you start showing up consistently over a period of time, you start showing new patterns, right? Self-respect, that is perceived as valuable as opposed to what is out there in the streets. The streets loves nobody. Don't let them deceive you. The streets is for the devourers, the enemy. They're looking for things to devour, right? You end up in the streets, yes, it can be very tough. Sometimes that's the only options available, but most times it's just self-work. Just have to do some self-work and then you'll be okay. Majority of people, they're going to end up in the streets when they find themselves in this bad place. Okay. But lucky you, you're here today. So value, what we mean by value is not just moral values. Okay. Moral value is bare base minimum. You're supposed to have that. Your parents trained you. You know how to not cheat, don't steal, don't lie, do the right thing, treat others, treat your friends, treat your neighbors like you would like to be treated yourself. All that is nice and cute. And you should do those things. But clearly, there are many people doing those things and they end up in divorce court. So when we say value, we're talking about the very reason why somebody would deem it absolutely insane. They have to consider themselves stupid, insane to go out in the street as opposed to being with you. That position, that place of value, the one that creates curiosity and attraction is what I'm talking about. You become increasingly competent, centered, and emotionally sustainable as a self. And obviously, everybody wants to be a part of that. They want to take care of you. You learn how to take care of yourself. Suddenly, they want to take care of you because you no longer need them before you take care of yourself. You're not coming off as clingy, as needy. They want space to say, I understand. Let me know when you do change your mind. It's tough. It's difficult. I'm sad, but I understand. You're able to acknowledge the state of things, but you give them the freedom, the space to be able to recenter themselves. They find their way back to you, and then you can decide for yourself if you want them or not. See how that works? Attraction. Value affects the energy you bring into every interaction. It shows up as confidence. Confidence is always sexy. You become less suffocating, you become less frantic, and more alive. Everybody wants to be a part of that party. Okay, so if you don't know how to find yourself back to that place, then you see what you're seeing. Now, some people it's spiritual, it's because village people are chasing after you. It's a lie. It's because you've lost yourself in that process. Okay, attraction here is not a trick for controlling somebody else. Okay, it is a natural social consequence of becoming a more grounded and sustainable human being. Everybody want, if you don't need people, they suddenly want to be a part of your world. That's just how it works. Okay, that's scientific. That's how it works. And then you have discernment. You observe what is actually happening before you get overly excited. You kind of know what is happening because you have the confidence and you've been doing the work and you can see it happening, but you stay calm. You stay cool, calm, collected. You make sure you understand before you get excited. You celebrate. You don't get overly excited. You celebrate if there's a need to celebrate. If you're able to rekindle your marriage, sure, why not? But you understand that no condition is permanent. That's what every winners understand. Losers think conditions are permanent. Winners understand that no condition is permanent, right? So a pleasant conversation is not necessarily reconciliation, right? Because, hey, we're not just going to deal with people that are not sure of themselves. If they can just outrightly call quits on your marriage in the first place, they need to win you back now because you no longer need them. It doesn't mean you're playing games or you're not playing hard to get or anything like that. It just means you're intentional. You stay centered always, right? Because you recognize that you're a human being, they're a human being. You get to decide what you want. They get to decide what they want. But you get to influence them because you know what you're doing. Influence, not control. Influence, right? Because you know what you're doing. You smell good. Well, not physically smell, but anything about you just looks like they want to be a part of it, right? And it's even easier if there's ever been that experience in that marriage in the first place, because oftentimes people have been through that, where everybody is excited, they're in love, but then life happens, complacency, and then they fell out of love. If you've ever been there before, this is easy. You can easily wake this up. All right, it is simple, maybe not necessarily easy. Okay, it's easier said than done. Okay, but it's very simple. You just have to get on the journey, right? So what if you had a cold day? It doesn't automatically mean divorce, right? They want a little bit of room to breathe. It doesn't mean divorce. You don't start panicking, right? They're requesting for space does not mean that you vanish and start playing games. It means like I need space too. What do you mean? You need space? Oh, sure, sure, sure. Let me know. I got some work to do.